Alright, what's up? We're back again already. Yeah, just had to get on because I had some sports stuff I gotta talk about. I mean, I gotta talk sports, right? I don't just do wrestling. I mean, I think I do a little bit of both pretty well, so we'll just get right into things. And I don't know what it is with me and follow-ups on previous videos that I do, but we gotta talk about Woody Johnson and Jerry Jones again. Of course, I think a lot of us actually do watch our fair share of the Pat McAfee show on ESPN, or at least those that access it, or hell, even if you're watching it on YouTube. You know, I'm not going to fault you either way. You can't go wrong either way. But, of course, the reason I bring that up specifically is that it was actually talked about on this morning's episode, where just going with Woody Johnson, and I want to talk about Jerry Jones in this same vein too, for a specific reason. It's just funny because all the stuff that went into him firing the general manager, I don't know why I'm failing on his name right now, and of course Robert Saleh, both on Tuesdays, of course, by the way, but now there was word that he actually had a mention, or had the notion to mention an idea where he wanted Aaron Rodgers benched. I mean, okay. I mean, didn't he approve the trade to get him there? I mean, that's a little bit odd to me. I mean, am I the only one that actually sees how odd that really is? Like, let's think about this seriously for a moment here. It goes back to what I said yesterday, to this being a blunder of things that just weren't thought through very well. Again, the fact that he told Robert Saleh he wasn't the one that hired him, to just all sorts of these other things. And now with Jerry Jones, you got Mike McCarthy over here talking about you could see Trey Lance coming up this weekend against, I think it was the Commanders. I'm not real sure, but either way, Jerry Jones actually wants to go as far as saying he doesn't want to see Trey Lance? Why? Like, I can't say this enough. Why does it need to matter what these motherfuckers are saying? I don't get it. Like, it just blows my mind sometimes. And the reason I say that, and I was actually having a conversation about this not all that long ago, you got owners with other teams that basically have been removed for really understandably stupid shit, but yet these guys are still where they are. Am I the only one that sees all the things that are wrong with that? And on that note, I'm going to leave that at that. And we're going to move right along. And interestingly enough, speaking of Jerry Jones, Coach Prime here has actually been the focus of a lot of Cowboys coaching talk, which, I mean, obviously Mike McCarthy doesn't seem to be much longer for that job. And, of course, Coach Prime in his most recent press conference denied any notion of him wanting to go to any other team, especially the Dallas Cowboys. And let's think about it. He's on the verge of possibly getting into the college football playoff here. I mean, that's the thing a lot of us seem to be forgetting about here when it comes to this sort of thing. Like, he has a legitimate shot at bringing Natty back to Colorado. I mean, we're over here actually talking about a potential move to Dallas. Now, here's the thing about that. And this is going to be something that a lot of fellow Colorado folks aren't going to be happy with me saying, but we got to be realistic about this here. If it so happened, and I'm just speaking on this hypothetically, okay? If it just so happened that somewhere along the way, whether it be in this upcoming playoff or maybe in the next couple of years, I feel like this would be just as likely a scenario as any. But let's say that Colorado wins the national championship, be it this year or at any point. In that scenario especially, if Coach Prime decided he wanted to move on to something else, I wouldn't have a problem with that personally. I really wouldn't. And the reason being is because look at what he's actually ended up doing for Colorado. Boulder is actually an attractive spot for folks now. I mean, he's actually given something to this program, this city, that they've never had before. And the thing about it is that no matter what happens, no matter who it is that they try to go after, should this be the case, there's not going to be another Coach Prime. It just doesn't work like that. It's just like with Alabama, you're not going to get another Coach Saban. With UConn women's basketball, you're not going to coach Auriemma. You're not going to get another guy like that. You're not going to see another Phil Jackson, another Red Auerbach, another Vince Lombardi, so on and so forth. So, really, in all honesty, I think what we need to acknowledge here is that, for one thing, I don't necessarily see Coach Prime leaving to go to the Dallas Cowboys, at least not anytime right away. The reason being is because we already talked about it. Jerry Jones, especially along the same lines as a Woody Allen, they just do too much to get in the way. I don't see a scenario where Coach Prime can actually be successful with the Dallas Cowboys as they are right now, with Jerry Jones doing things the way that he does. So, if anything, maybe he goes to FSU, I don't know. I honestly don't see it being the Cowboys, but that's neither here nor there. But now at this point, we're going to actually go away from football, and this is where I guess I am doing catch-up stuff on more than just wrestling. But yeah, we're going to talk about Jon Jones. It's a point where I would have been saying my man Jon Jones. Not so much now, but, you know, still got a lot of respect for him. You know, he's the champion, the world heavyweight champion in the UFC now. And, of course, this weekend he actually, I guess people are saying it this way, so I guess I will too, he actually retired Stipe Miocic, who, of course, we all know, literally the most successful heavyweight in UFC history. And this is really huge, and it works as a passing of the torch of sorts from Miocic to Jones. And there's just no doubt about it now. I think that we're at a point where, regardless of any of the controversy, the history, or anything like that, we got to acknowledge that Jon Jones is likely the GOAT, not just in UFC, but probably all of MMA. And that may not be something a lot of people want to hear or agree with, and that's fine, but I can't say it enough, it's reality. And I can't really look at it any other way. Give me anybody that has really done it on this level, has had an impact anywhere near being on this level. I can't see that in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And there have been some great ones. George St. Pierre, Anderson Silva, you know, and you got a guy now who I've talked about in previous video where dream matchup, and even Jon Jones has talked about it, Alex Pererria. I mean, that's getting to be more and more inevitable because it's actually come out of Jones's mouth now. So, with that in mind, I gotta say, of course, Tom Masvidal's up next, I guess, as far as the heavyweight title is concerned. But at the end of the day, it's really going to be all about Jones and Pererria at some point. I can't say that enough, and I said that before. That's just the reality of all this. So, let's just look forward to getting ready for that. But with all that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and cut it there. Y'all know what it is. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think down below. And of course, I'll be back with more.